Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. We start by seeing people running through a forest at night. Terrified screams are heard from one of them, and a monstrous roar echoes. Frightened, the group of people continues to run for their lives as the beast chases them. Not far away, Barbara stumbles and is dragged behind a tree. Her friends, Douglas, Carl, and Vicky, witness the horrifying scene as Barbara is brutally killed by the creature. The scene changes to a group of young people in a car, going on a trip. The youths are Jeff and his girlfriend Mandy, Jeff's sister Alyssa and her boyfriend Matt, and also with them Sean. Follow a detour Alyssa directed them to, continuing along a road that cuts through the forest. The group was chatting a bit inside the car when, further ahead on the detour, they came across a sign that warned road closed. Jeff stops the car, and everyone gets out to inspect the obstacle ahead. A notice informs them that the forest is undergoing environmental restoration, but Jeff knows it's just a way to keep people from seeing potential logging of ancient trees. The group is disheartened, thinking the trip is over, and Jeff is annoyed, but Mandy calms him down. With no other choice, they initially decide to camp there, but Alyssa mentions that she used to camp with her family a bit further ahead, so they prepare to grab their things and walk, as the car can't pass. Matt asks if their belongings will be safe in the car, and Jeff assures him they will be, leaving the key in the gas cap. The group wants to leave quickly, but Mandy is vain, so they all wait for her to touch up her makeup. Moments later, the group has already entered the forest to head to the camping spot. They follow the trail, having fun and admiring the nature around them. Sean asks what the spray is for, and Jeff says the ranger warned that due to deforestation in the denser forest, wild animals might have migrated to this area, and the spray is for protection. Sean jokes that if a grizzly bear confronts them, the spray won't save them from the animal's ferocity. The group continues, not noticing the carcass of a large wolf, horribly killed, by the side of the path. The young group hasn't reached their intended spot yet, and seeing that the sun is about to set, Alyssa becomes worried. Jeff and his sister discuss what to do, as Jeff inadvertently took them off course, thinking they would enjoy it. Meanwhile, Matt goes to relieve himself a little away from the group and finds a backpack. He picks it up and hears a noise of breaking branches but thinks nothing of it and returns to his friends. Matt returns to the others and shows Sean what he found. Later that night, the group continues their hike using flashlights, and Mandy is upset at Jeff's stupidity for getting them practically lost in the forest. They stop for Alyssa to check their location via satellite, and meanwhile, Mandy notices something strange in the foliage near a hole. She approaches to investigate and finds blood-stained shoes. Following the bloodstains, she sees something and screams, prompting the group to rush to her. They see the horrifying scene of body parts. Suddenly, a terrifying roar scares them, and they become alert to the danger. Terrified and not wanting to stay to find out what the creature is, they run to find a high place to call the ranger. However, along the way, they encounter a creature eating its prey. The creature rises, revealing itself as a humanoid monstrosity with large, sharp teeth, an alien-like head, and a body resembling a werewolf. The group runs in fear from what they just saw, and Sean falls, leaving his backpack behind, which the beast picks up. The youths stay together and take shelter behind a rock, watching the forest around them. Luckily, they find a house in the middle of the forest, not far away. Jeff asks his two friends to take the girls to the house while he distracts the creature in the forest but promises to return soon. As the group starts to leave, Jeff turns on his flashlight and looks back, only to be confronted by the monstrosity. The creature attacks him, quickly killing him and ripping out his organs. Seeing this, his friends can only run to the house to escape the danger. They desperately knock until the homeowners let them in. Mandy is almost dragged away, but the homeowners scare the creature off with fire. The monster tries to get in, but the homeowners, Carl and Vicky, tell the group to be quiet, and after the silence, the beast leaves. Sometime later, when they are calmer, Vicky tends to Mandy's wounds, and Sean tries to contact emergency services. After his cell phone dies, the group hears a man's voice, soon discovering it to be Douglas, who is upset because the creature sensed them when they entered the house. He also says that no one will come to help them. Carl explains that the creature calms down when it feeds and mentions that when they arrived, there were already barricades at the entrances, indicating that others had passed through. However, there is an entrance through the basement, which nearly led to their ruin, but they managed to close the door. Carl says the creature seems to know the place well and is a beast with an insatiable hunger. Fearing the worst, the group starts to reinforce the barriers even more, and when Alyssa tries to go upstairs, Douglas doesn't allow it. Alyssa goes to another room and examines the destruction in the house. When Matt joins her, Alyssa tells him that she thinks the creature wants them in the house as a food reserve for later. Matt tries to calm her, saying that the loss is making her think that way. Alyssa insists she's sure of what she believes. Matt continues talking and downplays their situation, claiming it's just a ferocious animal that put them in this predicament. However, he comforts Alyssa, telling her to use her mind to find a way out, as she is smart in adverse situations. Suddenly, they are startled by the creature appearing at a window blocked by boards. The group rushes to them and reinforces the passage. They see the beast circling the house, searching for entry points, so they follow it and notice it has gone upstairs, where Douglas is. He comes down, showing his fear, while Carl, Matt, and Sean go up to check the entrances. Carl slowly enters the room and, seeing the creature, closes the door with the others. The group tries to hold the monster behind the door, and Sean goes down to get his spray. The beast breaks through the wood and injures Carl's arm, but Sean arrives quickly and sprays the creature's face, making it retreat. The group finishes closing the door with a piece of furniture, but Douglas insists that it won't be enough and they need to leave the house as quickly as possible. Moments later, the group sits down to discuss a solution and plans to stay in one room with a single barricade. It seems like a good idea, but Douglas says it would only delay the beast from getting them. The group thinks the idea is appropriate, as emergency services said help would be sent, but Douglas throws his phone, saying they told him the same thing. Alyssa says her parents have friends who might look for them, but this doesn't reassure Douglas. He says the best thing to do is run to the road, as if anyone is searching for them, they will be found faster on the road. He recounts losing his wife to the creature but still hopes they can escape the terror by offering something for the beast to eat. The group disagrees with the idea of one of them being eaten. Matt, believing he can run faster than the beast, says he can make it to the road and get help. Alyssa confronts him about his plan in private. She doesn't want him to risk himself for something uncertain, but Matt says it's a good solution for the group. He just needs a distraction and will then outrun the creature and cross the forest to find help. Matt convinces Mandy to accept the plan and shows her the walkie-talkie he will use to communicate with her. Carl appears and says he will be the distraction because, after facing the beast so many times, he has lost his fear of it. Sean leaves the house with him to support and observe from a distance and alert him of the creature's approach. Carl, using a flare and a whistle, starts to draw the monster's attention while the group waits inside the house. On the house's porch, Sean alerts Carl of movement nearby, and through the walkie-talkie, Carl gives Matt the green light to run. After Matt runs quickly, Carl asks Sean what he sees, but he has lost sight of him. Moments later, Matt's screams are heard on the walkie-talkie, so Carl and Sean decide to return to the house. When they reach the entrance, Douglas prevents them from entering, disturbed and fearing the monster's entry. Vicky tries to open the door, but Douglas knocks her to the ground. However, Mandy tells Carl to go to the kitchen door, and she lets him in, but the creature hears through the fallen walkie-talkie. Furious, Carl surprises Douglas and knocks him out. A few minutes later, Douglas wakes up to find himself tied to the staircase bars, with Carl telling him to be quiet. Douglas says he did what he did to protect himself and the others, but Carl doesn't want to hear it. Alyssa talks to Mandy, saying she will no longer run from the creature, imagining they have now lost Matt. She declares she will stay and find a way to destroy the monster. Mandy hugs her, trying to comfort her, and then reveals that she is pregnant, but unfortunately, Jeff is dead and will never know the surprise. After their conversation, they go to the living room and see how terrified Sean is, living through this nightmare. The girls try to cheer him up and tell him that he and everyone else will be fine. However, fearing for his life, Sean starts confessing his hidden truths, one of which is that he is gay and had a secret romance with Jeff. This makes Mandy upset and furious that he is saying this after Jeff's death. The noise from the argument grows louder, to the point where Mandy has to intervene and tell them to stop talking. A walkie-talkie starts giving a signal, but when the group tries to speak, no one responds, only beeps are heard. To make them more confused and worried, in another room, another walkie-talkie starts emitting the same signals, and when the group goes to find it, they discover it is in the basement. They decide to go down together, armed with objects, but Sean and Vicky stay behind. The group goes down to the basement and there they find Matt's body, which is badly injured. Suddenly, the creature emerges from the darkness, and Carl attacks it to give the others time to escape from the basement, but unfortunately, he does not return alive. Vicky, distraught, reflects on her loss, while the others in the living room try to help the injured Matt, but there is not much they can do without medical supplies. Using what strength he has left, Matt reveals that there are two creatures, leaving the group even more worried. Seeing Matt's condition, Douglas suggests using him as bait so the group can run away. However, Alyssa proposes that knowing the beast wants to get in to catch them, they should set a trap and imprison the monster inside and then set it on fire. Douglas agrees to the idea and says he will help her. Sean then unties him. In his last breaths, Matt tells Alyssa that he loved her, but as soon as he finishes, the deranged and disturbed Douglas uses a piece of wood to kill Matt. He insults everyone, saying he had to do that to survive, then drags the dead body to the door to put it outside, but the monster surprises him, breaking through the wooden barrier and starting to eat him alive. Seeing that the creature is occupied, the remaining group grabs some things and heads to the basement to get some cans of kerosene. Alyssa and Mandy spread the fuel. Hearing something, the creature stops eating and goes to investigate the noise. It reaches the basement door, where the group is hiding, but Alyssa is not seen. She initiates her plan, trapping the beast in the room and pouring more fuel, then setting it on fire. The flames reach the monster, causing it to thrash and scream in pain before dying. The basement group heads outside, but Mandy returns to get Vicky, who is staring at her deceased husband. Suddenly, Sean screams in terror and then goes silent, indicating he has been killed. When Mandy tries to leave with Vicky, the widow suddenly stops at the exit door, her stomach starting to bleed. Mandy then discovers the second creature, which kills Vicky. Terrified, Mandy runs and finds Alyssa. It's already dawn, and without wasting time, the two girls run for their lives. The beast continues to chase them, and not far ahead, Mandy trips and falls. Unfortunately, Alyssa doesn't have time to help her, and the beast attacks Alyssa, initiating a deadly assault. Left as the only survivor, Mandy runs desperately through the forest. Hearing the creature nearby, Mandy has an idea. She takes off her blood-stained shirt and throws it away, then covers herself with the damp soil to mask her scent. She keeps running and approaches the spot where they left the car. Quickly, she grabs the vehicle's key and starts it to leave, but the monster appears and attacks her. Mandy fights the beast and manages to shift gears to start the car. However, she wants to end the terror, so she accelerates the car toward the fallen monster and crushes its head. After that, she turns around and leaves the forest, remembering her friends who were killed by the terrifying creature. The final scene shows the monster's dead body, but the terror is not over, as there are still other monstrous beings,